Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Inside Board Games. We are in person on location here at 2024 Nerd Fest, and today I am talking to Heidi Fry. Thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Heidi Fry is from, I'm going to read this so I don't mess it up, Jestertastic Creations. Now, on Inside Board Games, we like to talk about all kinds of board games and board game designers and people involved in all different aspects of board gaming. Tell me what Jestertastic does, and we have a lot of it right here. Spoiler alert, you can see it.
Well, we are geeks making geeky things.
Love it.
It's everything from anime to retro video games to board game related things. A lot of the items that we've created are based on requests from either our friends or our family or just people at shows who say, hey, you should have whatever. And
like board game stuff, like dice towers, or like more anime stuff or artwork, like sort of.
A lot of our stuff is focused on TTRPGs, so Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder. We have some blind bags where we've created bags. If you cannot decide what your next character is going to be, it has everything from a dice tray to a themed coaster to a new set of dice that might go with your new character.
Nice.
And we also make smaller ones, but we do the dice trays, we do the dice towers, 3D printed, woodcut. We've got the little mimics where, if your board game pieces or your dice have been bad, they can go in for a timeout.
Is this a mimic over here?
Yes. Watch out. He bites.
This opens up?
Yes, he does.
I'll let you do that.
Yeah. See?
Oh, okay. And so I want to say this now because I'm thinking it and I don't want to forget it later. If you have a board gamer in your life and you ever wondered, what should I get this board gamer for Christmas or for their birthday? Watch, because this is like a lot of the stuff that board gamers. Okay, maybe you don't know what game they want. Something like this is super, super cool.
Right? And we're working on making DIY kits. Like this little box,
oh, okay.
If we put it together, it's $25, but if you want to do it yourself and paint it yourself, it's $15. And a lot of our boxes are painted. This one isn't, but a lot of them are.
Oh, okay.
And
that looks nice even unpainted.
Yeah, I know. And you can always just color in the top or the sides or the teeth. Like a lot of times I'll take a little red marker and just put little red marks on the teeth because it's a mimic and
of course.
Munching on things.
Right. What got you into doing this? Were you kind of more of a crafty person who got into board games, or board games person who got into kind of making these things?
A little bit of both. So we started off with a 3D printer, and my husband was doing like board game organizers or like token containers, things like that. And then, we wanted merchandise for things that we were fans of, but that didn't really have merchandise, so we made stuff. Mm-hmm. And then he got a laser, and we made more board game organizers. And again, then our friends are like, hey, can you make this stuff for us? Sure. Hey, you should really sell this stuff. 2 years later, here we are. Now, we have a huge board game collection in the basement, and a lot of them do have the custom organizers in it. Not all of them are ones we've designed. Some are ones that we've, bought from other places.
Sure.
But they've always given us ideas about what to do and how to kind of design stuff. We're not currently selling it because, again, we've only made it for ourselves. But board game was sort of the gate, one of the many gateways that got us into creating stuff. So
those organizers are very important. A lot of people. There's some games that the pieces just don't fit in the box that was made. They don't fit well.
Right.
And I would spend money for an organizer to keep it, because it helps your gaming experience, so you don't have to spend half your time reorganizing this pile of materials.
Right. Or sometimes board games come with a cardboard component, and after you put it together one or two times, now the tabs aren't quite fitting or they bend.
Oh yeah.
And so we can recreate that out of the basswood that we use and make another one that is just as good and it looks just the same and lasts far, far longer.
Right. And so I'm guessing that you kind of like the Dungeons and Dragons, the TTRPGs is sort of your go-to, kind of your favorite tabletop game.
Yes, I mean I started off with Vampire the Masquerade way back when.
Oh wow.
And then did Dungeons and Dragons. Occasionally I've dipped into Pathfinder, but mostly it's Dungeons and Dragons. Our favorite is 3.5, even though that's like all the tiny little details, but it's all the customizable stuff. I know 5.0 is. It's easier just to take it right out of the box and play, but for really doing in-depth character creation, I really enjoy 3.5.
What's your go-to character?
Cleric. No one else wants to play a healer.
Yeah, I hear you. That's sort of the role that I like to take on, especially more in like the video game realm, where everyone else wants to be up there shooting. It's like I'll heal you,
right?
I'll be the one focused on the objective. You go get all your, do all your damage.
Yeah, I played World of Warcraft for the longest time, but I did a druid because it was a good solo build, and then if I went into dungeons, I could switch into healer build. So, and then Final Fantasy 14 is what I'm currently playing, and fortunately, I don't usually have to heal because we've, in our FC, we've got people that do that. So,
okay. So getting back to board games and tabletop, what are some of the trends that you're seeing, or maybe some of the surprises that you're seeing? Things that are people are kind of looking for that might be a surprise.
In general, I'm seeing a lot of Kickstarter fatigue, if that makes sense. A lot of people, I'm seeing feedback that they're tired of big companies using Kickstarter as funding, and they're also tired of waiting for their games. So I've been seeing a lot of commentary just in general of, oh yeah, I saw this on Kickstarter, but I'm waiting for it on retail because I don't want to commit $200 now and then $50 in shipping later.
Oh, sure.
And so even with the exclusives that are coming with Kickstarter, that's kind of what I'm seeing just in general.
And as far as like the things that you're making, are people like dice towers are the best thing now, and they weren't maybe a while ago, or custom? I mean, do you do? I noticed you have some custom etched things here. Do you also do dice?
We're getting there. We do sell it, but right now we do buy it from a supplier. Let's just say that making custom casted resin dice is a lot harder than we thought, and so we've got our custom, not custom molds, custom
dice.
Yeah, the originals,
okay.
So the original designs that we're going to make, the prototypes that we're going to make the silicone molds for and start casting for. But we're using the $10 cheap molds off of Amazon to practice with and try to figure out why is it bubbling? Why is it not going into the numbers? What's going on with this?
Oh, that's smart, to do the tests.
And so we're trying to figure out our process first on the basic stuff before we actually get into what we want to do. But the custom dice are coming. Just the learning curve is high.
Okay, are you seeing more demand for the custom dice? That's why
yes.
Okay.
I'm seeing a lot more custom dice as we go to the shows. There are folks that will custom design. There's one just a couple of conventions ago that's all they had was custom poured dice, and they had in all kinds of colors and different themes, and they had names for each one, and they had a really, really nice display. And keep in mind, handmade dice are not cheap. I own a couple of sets myself, and each of them is probably over $100 each, because now I'm finding out exactly how much of a pain it really is to make.
Well, dice in general. I've talked to some game designers, that say that dice are the most expensive component in a lot of games.
Mm-hmm. To get good ones that are well balanced, that look nice, there's definitely an art.
So, do you find yourself at a lot of conventions, or are you, mainly online? How?
We are mostly a convention vendor. We do have a website, but it's mostly a gallery. A lot of things are simply, we make one of them. Like right now, we have one Asuka in Unit 2. We have one It's Dangerous to Go Alone, Take This. So we'll take pictures of them and we'll put them up. But a lot of times it's simply, if you're interested, let us know and we'll custom make you one. So we can custom make it in size. Do you want different dice colors? We put green because Link is green. But if you want gold dice, we'll find you some gold dice and put them in there. So.
Okay. Do you find it hard conveying to people that because that means you're kind of relying on your customer base to have a vision, sort of what they want, and then kind of tell you, what they want. Is that it seems like that would be kind of challenging. That people would need to be. I think it seems to me that most people would want to see, I get this choice of A, B, or C.
Sometimes.
Okay.
It really just kind of depends. The thing is, we never make anything the same way twice.
Okay.
So, even with Link, next time we might use a different shade of green on his shirt, so that way the little sprite is going to look just a little bit different. We're probably never going to change the font because that's Link to the Past font. But
right.
we've made several different maps of the Link to the Past, and each one is different. So different colors, different markers, even different types of wood, because different types of wood give it different textures that you get.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So each one's going to be different. So you can't look at this as mass-produced, printed art. This is all one of a kind.
Now, the conventions that you go to, do you go to board game, comic?
Well, in the past 3 months, we've been at comic cons, we've been at anime cons, we've been at board game cons.
Okay.
We've not been at craft shows. We have done craft shows in the past, but they are not the people who are looking for what we produce.
Sure,
if that
I can
makes
see
sense.
that. Yeah.
So our stuff is completely surprising. Usually, if we go to a board game convention, we'll sell a lot of anime products. If we go to an anime convention, we've been the only ones that have had dice. So we sell a bunch of dice because we're the only ones with it there, and everybody else has anime things.
Okay, I was going to ask you, which of those do you do best at?
And the answer is it just kind of depends.
Okay.
We're finding out that a lot of it is placement. So if you're, we were at a booth in one show where we were at a corner, and so people would walk toward us and then just kind of veer right around the corner, and their eyes just went right over our booth and never stopped. So it just kind of depends.
Location.
Exactly.
Walk through a little bit of what we have here. A few things might be small that people can't see.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So
tell me a little bit about this piece here and how it was made.
So it's a multi-layer laser cut art piece, and it's Asuka in Unit 2 from Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is an anime that was produced several decades ago and redubbed by Netflix fairly recently.
Okay.
So the Unit 2 is the Big Mech, and Asuka is the pilot, and she drives it. And so by doing the laser cut art, it sort of gives it that 3D effect.
There's so many layers here. From where I'm sitting, I can see about 7 or 8 layers.
Yep. And so it's basically you have to just kind of trace it out and put it in the format that the laser recognizes it, and then each layer has engraved lines, and that's how it's almost like a coloring book that you can color it in. So, and then this one is done the same way, except on the background, what we did was we did a background of white, and then over top of it we had a background or did the layer of black, and then lasered off the top.
Oh, okay. So that's like inset. Interesting. I thought it was text printed on, but if you look close, you can see it's.
It's really interesting because we can do. We also have a Cricut at home, and so I can actually use the vinyl to put a stencil on the back, and then we'll spray paint it and peel the stencil off. Sometimes we'll just use a Cricut to put vinyl on. It depends on what we want to do and what effect we want.
Okay.
But then this one, we actually tested a couple of different glues to make sure we would find a glue that made the dice stick to the spray paint. Let's see, and then we've got...
Then we got the really cool coasters.
Yeah,
we have the Godzilla.
Yep, and Star Trek. So most of the images on the coasters are by request.
Something for everyone.
Exactly. So if you come and look at our coasters, we have a lot of different ones out.
And I like this shale or whatever the stone is.
Yep, it's slate. And so
Slate, okay.
after we engrave the image on, we actually spray it with a clear coat so that way it protects the surface.
Okay, nice.
It might look like it's scratched a little bit. It's not. You just, wipe it off and it's good to go.
Okay, and you even have some earrings there.
Yes, we have a whole line of geeky earrings. These ones that I brought up are dopamine, which...
Dopamine?
Dopamine.
Oh, that's the chemical...
That hormone.
The chemical compound of dopamine.
Yep. I also have serotonin and caffeine, because who couldn't use a little caffeine in their life?
I love that. That is so cool.
So I did label them though, because otherwise, people are asking, what is that? And I'm like, let me put labels on them.
What's the best way for someone? Where can you be found? How does people connect with you to find what you have and to find out what stuff you can create for them?
The best way is probably on Facebook. So
okay.
if you facebook.com/Jestertastic. The other way is you can always email us at jestertastic@gmail.com, and our website is jestertastic.com. So Jestertastic is JESTERTASTIC.
Thanks so much for joining me today. This is really, really cool. Like I said before, if you're wondering what to get the gamer in your life, check out Jestertastic. And thanks so much for tuning in to this on-location edition of Inside Board Games. We'll see you next time.